I want to talk about a pretty serious concept and a pretty serious topic, and I think all of you are actually going to resonate with this. If money will solve it, money is not the problem. Now, a lot of you listening to this, we've been through, if you're a business owner, you've been through times inside of your life where things just weren't going well financially, right? You wanted things to go better. You needed things to go better. And if you could just get more money, if the bank would just loan me more money, if I'd make more money inside of my business or whatever they may be, then it would solve all of my problems. Well, I'm going to challenge you on this because the reality is, as business owners, we're the ones, it's our decisions that are making all of the financial decisions inside of our life, right? So what we have to do is, instead of telling ourselves the story that, hey, if I could just get more money, then all the problems would be solved, you actually have to start looking at the habits of the person that are making the decision. So as business owners, we have to look into the mirror. Now, a perfect example of this is around like passing on your legacy to the next generation. And like the example I'm going to give you is passing on $2 million to a 30-year-old, right? Say your son or daughter or whatever, you pass away and then they get $2 million at 30 years old. Well, the thing is if they were not trained, if they were not conditioned and trained and educated on financial principles and how to make sound financial decisions, if they were not trained from a young age, then what's the likelihood that they're going to keep a hold of that $2 million? Well, it's not very likely at all, right? Can you imagine being 30 years old, having no financial education or experience as a business owner and being handed $2 million? There's no way that you're going to keep that money. There's going to be poor financial decision after poor financial decision, and it's going to continue till everything runs out, right? It's no different than the common saying that we have inside of the farming and the ranching industry is first generation builds it, second generation grows it, third generation loses it. Why does the third generation lose it? Well, the first generation that builds it has to go through some hard times financially. They have to learn financial principles because they don't have anything to fall back on. This has been my experience. I had to build everything that I have from ground zero, and I'm super grateful for that experience because it taught me how to make sound financial decisions and make sure that I am basically checking myself on every financial decision that we're about to make. And it's taught me to just some really foundational educational principles when it comes to making these financial decisions. Those are things, and that's education and training there that I want to be able to pass on to my kids. That way, when they do get what I, leave them for inheritance, they respect it. They understand what it took to create it, but they also have the knowledge and the skills and the wisdom to make sure that they keep it, right? And what we got to do, what I have to do is try to focus on how do I instill those principles and that knowledge and that wisdom in them so that they can then instill it in the next generation that follows. And the thing is, and the problem that we have inside of the ag industry today, and really just any business in general, is that as the generations pass, those knowledge and those financial principles and how to make, sound financial decisions, that knowledge kind of drifts away. It drifts into the distance. That's why you get into where the third generation loses it. That's why, guys. That's why. So, and the thing is the third generation is going to be the one that says, oh man, if I could just get more money, all my problems would be solved. That's the furthest thing from the truth. As business owners, if you're struggling financially right now, you have to look in the mirror. You have to look at the types of decisions that you're making. How are you feeling when you're making decisions? Are you shooting from the hip? Are you making decisions based strictly off of emotion, which is 99% of farmers and ranchers and people inside of the ag industry today? Just 99% making decisions based off of just emotions. And the reason that this is happening, guys, and one of the main things that we focus on the legacy farmer is people aren't organized financially. They have no idea where they're at. Because I can guarantee you, if you were organized financially and you knew exactly where you're at, then you had somebody to challenge you on the financial decisions that you're making, you're going to not make near as many bad decisions. I can promise you that you will not make near as many bad decisions. And I don't have to tell you, there's no small financial mistakes inside of the farm operation. We're dealing with, millions of dollars in equipment, millions of dollars in crops. Any mistake can easily be 50, 100, 200 grand a year pretty easily, right? And even just with repairs and everything. So when it comes to making these financial decisions, whether it's around purchasing ground, purchasing equipment, expanding the operation or whatever, we want to make sure that we have the systems in place to make sure that we're making a sound financial decision there, not something based off of just emotion, not something just based off of shooting from the hip, especially when you're just doing stuff and buying things or expanding the operation just to make you feel better, right? Make you look good to your neighbors or whoever. There's so many people inside of the ag industry, and we've experienced this with members coming to the Legacy Farmer. Like 95% of the financial decisions they've made were never based off of sound numbers. Were never financially did not make sense. And it's because they didn't have the systems to track those numbers. They didn't have the systems to get that stuff organized. And that's why everything that we offer inside of Legacy Farmer and our software that we built out and the training and the education that we give one-on-one with each one of our members, we truly want them to organize the entire operation. We help them do that. We help them set everything up step by step, but we also want them to know what the numbers mean as well. That way, when it comes to making a decision 2 years from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now, or whatever that is, we want to make sure that when it comes to making that decision, we are stopping them and forcing them and building in habits that cause them to think through the finances of that decision. How does this impact me now? How could this financial decision impact me 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now? How does it impact the next generation? Because we truly, as business owners, we have to develop the long-term thinking through that, through all the financial decisions that we're making. And a lot of people, they don't. A lot of people, especially in the markets today, prices are going up. We got great wheat prices today as of this recording. And I guarantee you, a lot of people will make 20-year or 30-year decisions based off of what prices are at today. They will go out and they will buy $1 million piece of ground based on what prices are at today. That is the completely wrong way to make financial decisions. You are setting yourself up there for failure because yes, we may be in a great market right now, higher grain prices and everything like that. What happens when we're in a down market? What happens when, 3 years from now, if we have another bear market and wheat prices go back to $4 or $5 or whatever that may be? Can you cash flow a new payment then? Can you cash flow that real estate then? When you look at the financial decision that you're making today in that type of market, would it be a wise and sound financial decision? Probably not. So everything that we're doing inside of Legacy Farmer, farmer metrics and cash flow analysis and bookkeeping and tax planning and everything for all of our members, and even tracking field by field profitability, we're doing this in an effort to change their decision-making, to rewire how they operate as a business owner so that we can instill habits inside of them that provoke good, sound financial decision-making going forward into the future. And these are skills that they will carry with them the rest of their life and hopefully pass them on to the next generation. Because at the end of the day, we go back to the topic of this entire video, which was if money will fix it, money's not the problem, right? Or if money will solve it, money's not the problem. You have to look at the individual. You have to look at the mistakes that they're making and what they're using, right? The metrics or the parameters or the emotions that they're using to make, bad financial decisions, and ultimately how that's impacting them across their entire operation. And more importantly, how it's impacting their family and the next generation that follows. Guys, every one of us wants to build something that lasts for multiple generations, but as business owners, we have to develop this skill set. And inside of Legacy Farmer, that's what we are focused on doing with more than 300 family farms. And we're going to keep going. The more family farms we can impact in my life and everything is going to be what our goal is here. Now, there's over 2 million family operations. Are we going to impact them all? No. But if we can get to 1,000 of them, if we get to 2,000 of them throughout the rest of my life, I would say that's a good goal to have for one's life and ambitions and really doing something that fulfills you and helps a lot of people at the same time. So my friend, that concludes today's video. I hope you found it valuable. And because of this, I hope you look in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, look at the decisions you've made. Look at where you're at financially right now. And if you're not in a good financial position, look at the decisions you made that have gotten you there. If you are in a great financial position, look at the decisions you've made that have gotten you there. And were they based off of sound financial decisions where you truly know the numbers because you're organized and you just know exactly where everything's at? Or are you not in the position you want to be because you look at your operation, it's completely disorganized, you have no idea where you're at financially, and you're shooting from the hip on every financial decision? Like, all these things carry into where you're at right now. So my friends, again, that concludes today's video. Hope you found it valuable, and we will catch you in the next one. What's up, everyone? My name is Jace Young. I'm the founder of a company called Legacy Farmer, and inside of that company, what we do is we've helped over 300 family farms simplify and streamline the entire financial side of their operation and help them learn their numbers at a deep, deep level so that they can implement the systems and the processes to make sure that their operation lives on for generations into the future.